fresh baked. Now lean back. Hi, Derrickson.
Hi, Romy.
Wait, do people know that I call you Derrickson? Do you know that that's what I'm calling him, Derrickson?
She calls me Derrickson because I used to call her
Snyder.
Oh, no, wait. Who called who first? You called me first.
No, you were Snyder. That's how you would call me in the middle of the office.
No, I called you Snyder because you called me Derrickson. Everybody calls me Derrickson, like in our emails, because my email address, this is at our old job, my email address was Derrickson, D-Erickson at whatever.
I'm telling you, I started that, Derrickson.
So I can take these out of your way?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, because I was S. Snyder, and you got a kick out of that.
No, but you called me Derrickson first. I said, well, now I'm going to call you Snyder. And I didn't think you'd ever get it because
okay, possibly. Oh, right, and then I immediately got it because I'm smart.
Because I would have to sit there and go, like, for an hour and a half, say Snyder.
Right.
To make it
right, and then I got it, and then it just stuck.
Right.
So I don't know who David is.
Yeah, she just calls me Derrickson.
I don't know who that is.
I can't call you Snyder anymore because you're not a Snyder.
Well, yeah, and then for a minute you kept calling me that, and then you'd be like, wait, what's your last name?
And I can't call you Romy.
Right, that doesn't make any sense.
No, so it's just Romy.
And then he just took it to Romy.
I like Romy.
Yeah. Romy and Michelle's high school reunion was my favorite movie.
Does anybody else call you Romy?
No, but my husband, that was his.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I've heard. Trust me. Trust me, I've heard from him that he don't like it.
Well, wait, but that's his name.
Right, but in his eyes, he was the OG Romy, and when people called Romy, they were calling him, and now all my little muffins call me Romy.
But they're not calling him like out. They're not calling you out loud.
Right, they're not calling us out loud, but like, I'll read a comment, for instance, and it'll be all, oh, Romy, blah, blah, blah.
If somebody called my wife Erickson, I would take that as a compliment. I would be like, hey, that's right, she's my girl.
That's right. That's my girl. You hear that? Hope you do.
Well, we are at Tangaroa Terrace. We just got done with a fine meal. We did not film the meal.
That's because we inhaled it. There was no meal to film.
She got the shrimp tacos, and I got the...
No, I got the shrimp bites.
Yeah, they were big tacos. It was okay. It was $10.
But they were good. But they were really, really tasty.
And I got
really tasty.
The pulled pork, barbecue pulled pork sandwich. It was pretty good.
I think mine was tastier than his.
We're noshing here on our juju juice from Trader Sam's. We're just having a great time.
That our bartender gave us a hard time for.
He did give us that hard time.
It's just a little bit.
He was busy. He was like, He was like, screw it. What do you?
He was like, yeah. What do you need? Stop bothering me. Just tell me what you want.
Anyway, we just saw Guardians of the Galaxy, and we want to talk about it because we like to do these kinds of fun things. Go see movies and then talk to Fresh Baked live on the scene. I mean, we literally just saw the movie like 20 minutes ago.
Literally. It's still in my brain.
Literally? Literally.
Is this how I'm calling it?
No. I was doing a Big Bang Theory thing, but you probably wouldn't get
Literally.
that. Literally?
Literally.
There you go. That wasn't bad. I know. They're going to be back. Anyway, so we just saw the movie. Now, let's try to keep this spoiler free. If we can, maybe we'll do some spoilers, kind of like we did with Maleficent.
Okay.
Spoilers at the end, perhaps, but in the starters, to keep it spoiler free.
Okay.
Obviously, there's a lot of hype going into the film.
Way more hype than there should have been. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It turned me off to the film.
I had to stop watching after a while. I chose not to go to all those trailers and all.
I didn't even see any trailers. I was already sick of the ones that they were showing.
Yeah, I feel like I knew who everybody was. You know, there was Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax the Destroyer. Like I shouldn't name Groot and Rocket.
You do know all the names,
right? So, but I knew that like 2 months ago.
Going in.
Meanwhile, well, anyway. So I tried to keep a low profile going, but we obviously knew after the first week that it was a hit. It did like 100 million the first weekend.
And everyone kept saying I should go see it.
Yeah, we did our part today for the next 100 million.
Yeah.
Because we support Disney.
Gosh.
Those were $17 tickets that we paid for those.
You guys, that was really expensive.
$34.
Hey, show me glasses!
Oh, yeah. And then they gave us, these are our 3D glasses. They've got, well, here you go. That's the front. And then it's got Guardians of the Galaxy right there, right? So here's the thing. They say to recycle these. They are never getting these things back because these are my new shades.
Dude, you guys, look who I got. Look who's on mine. Can you read it? It says Rocket.
Oh, is it on the side like that?
Yay! Yeah, look it.
So should I do the whole review? Should I do the whole review with my glasses on?
Does that look... Mine looks dumb. How come you look cool and I look dumb?
I don't look cool. I look like, you know what I look like? Is the kid from Back to the Future that always wore the 3D glasses. Remember that guy?
I'm taking mine off, sorry.
Anyway, so we know it's a hit, and we know that everybody loved it. Well, not everybody, but most people liked it.
Yep. A lot of people liked it.
But that still doesn't mean we have to. But
and that doesn't mean crap to me, because I don't care what anybody thinks. I think for myself.
But the reality is that she liked the movie.
And I did!
Totally loved it, huh?
I did! I'm not even kidding. We just said it a few minutes ago. It might be the last video, depending on how this gets cut. But I laughed the loudest in that theater.
Yeah.
And
we were laughing, guffawing.
We were guffawing. And we were guffawing at things that nobody else was laughing at. And it was funny.
Well, there were some jokes that, there's a joke that, he says, everything goes over Drax's head. He goes, don't bother telling
nothing goes over my... Oh, yeah.
Go over his head. And he goes, nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. And
we were the only ones who laughed. Nobody got the joke. Nobody understood it. It was cricket, cricket, cricket. And then that's how David and I were like, this is good stuff. We were like hitting each other practically. This is good stuff, man.
Yeah, that was okay. So
where was everybody?
It was an interesting start to the movie, I thought.
Dude, it was an epic start.
I was crying, like almost crying within a minute, like just like that. I mean, we got. I don't want to give it away.
I teared up 3 times.
Yeah, This is Guardians of the Galaxy.
I didn't let it fall, but it all welled up.
Right.
In there.
It was on deck.
Yeah.
On deck. They were warming up.
Tears.
Ready to go.
5 minutes on deck. Definitely.
But that was a really fun opening.
It was a great intro.
Fun opening to establish where Peter, the Star-Lord, came from. He's
and
from
it was
Earth.
quick.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
They didn't waste any time.
This movie was 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
For the first hour, it was just 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, it was.
And you could not keep up. Between the action and the jokes and the discovering of the characters, because they all come together, right? So you don't know who they are. Each one kind of comes in line, and the way they all come together in this prison, that was awesome.
It takes a minute. It takes a minute for them all to band as one.
And it's totally fluid and natural. Like it doesn't feel contrived or forced how these guys came together.
Well, not only that, but I didn't feel like this is cheesy. I'm just watching a movie that I can already predict or anything like that.
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, that's the problem that I have with Thor 2. That was not a good movie. Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3. You could see what's coming. You kind of know what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Even Avengers. You're kind of like, what? With the Avengers? Like, what?
Well, in my opinion, a lot of the fame from those movies is from, the actors. Well, I mean...
Well, yeah, and the huge personas of Iron Man and Thor.
Right, everybody loves some Iron Man.
So nobody knows who Guardians of the Galaxy are, basically.
I had no idea who they were. I had to go ask my husband
It was a lot of fun getting to know these characters, and they, like I said, they did a good job of compressing it, of getting it to you in a hurry, and getting to the story. And I love it when they can do that, because either they take too long or they do it too quick. They assume you know too much, or they try to show you too much.
Perfect point. The creators of the film did not assume that little Romy knew anything, because she didn't. And they told me 2 minutes of story, and boom, I was caught up. Don't need no more. Keep going with the movie. Thank you.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what they did. Yep.
Just enough, and that's the great thing. That's why film is such a great medium for telling a story, is that it may take you pages to tell that in a book.
Yeah.
You put Star-Lord in that cave dancing over to his Walkman, and you know what kind of guy he is. Right?
It's true.
You know
I knew exactly what kind of guy he was, and I loved him.
I know. He was, and now, I want to get to that, because it's an ensemble film, right? It's you think that the star is Peter, Star-Lord.
Right.
Or maybe Gamora, right? Because she's probably the second biggest name in the cast.
Okay.
Well, actually, Bradley Cooper's probably a bigger name, but you don't see him.
And you cannot tell that was him.
Yeah, you can't tell.
I
Bradley
swear,
Cooper at all.
the whole movie, I kept trying to
I think they synthesized his voice or something.
I kept picturing Alan from The Hangover. No, not Alan. What's his character's name from The Hangover? I kept picturing his character, and I couldn't see it. I couldn't see him as the wreck. Good job, Bradley Cooper. Good job.
I thought that the starness of it, the screen time and the lines and the good parts, the good scenes, was really evenly distributed. Everybody was well represented. Even Groot, who has only one line, he says, "I."
Groot's got a fan club.
Groot is awesome. Remember when Drax called him a stupid tree or a dumb tree or whatever that at the end? Because Drax, the best part about Drax's character is that he's smart, but he's kind of an idiot also.
Well, he's not quick.
Right. He's very literal and practical.
Very literal.
He's, so if you try to use metaphors or he doesn't get it. So
hence the going over the head.
Right, the going over the head thing, right? But he's not a dummy.
Right.
And so, when sentiment, when emotion comes out, it sounds really funny. He was talking about, he goes, and I even love you giant stupid tree or whatever, really like, I'm glad you're my friend or something like that. I forget how it went. But, and he goes, yeah, I'm glad you're my friend. I'm glad this dumb tree is my friend and that green whore over there.
Yeah.
Green whore being Gamora. He calls her a whore through the whole movie. And she's like, I'm not a whore. But that's how he sees her. But it's very practical. It's not a judgment. It's not, he's just, right?
That's what he sees, yeah.
That's her occupation.
Right. There was another part in there where they insulted somebody, and even Groot was like,
oh yeah, he put his hands. Yeah.
That was good. I like that.
This is a fun little thing to do, and I kind of, one word for the whole movie. Like a thief.
Oh, I was going to say better.
Better? That's good. Better than what we've been getting from Marvel, you mean?
Better.
Well, I haven't seen Captain America 2
No,
yet, so.
I think that's what I'm going to go with. Better.
Yeah.
It was better than what I thought.
You didn't really?
Yeah, better than what I thought, and even as it kept on going, it was getting better. Like,
right, yeah.
It wasn't fizzling out. I hate it when
there was
when writers fizzle out at the end.
It slowed down when they got to Nowhere.
Yes.
It slowed down a little bit there. Was it after Nowhere? Maybe when they were out in space and they got picked up by. Anyway, there is a point where you get to catch your breath a little bit, but. I don't know if I want to call it a lull, but it wasn't 100 miles an hour anyway, maybe 85.
Right.
but for the most part, you're right. It did a good job of keeping you interested in the story.
It just kept picking up.
And it wasn't like, oh, okay, this is the bad part, or
right.
It just kept being good. It kept being good throughout.
That, and I feel like, would you consider this a comedy?
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of comedies, the writers put all the good stuff in the beginning.
Oh, yes. Or you've already seen all the good stuff in the trailers.
Or you've seen all the good stuff in the trailers, and it's just not
trailers
as funny.
Like that much.
And the writers did not stop writing an hour into the movie.
Right.
They kept writing all the way through. They didn't give up. They didn't fizzle out.
Yeah. There are a ton of jokes in there that are super funny that you never have seen in any trailer or promo or anything.
I can't get over the one over the head.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should have wrote down more of those jokes.
I know.
I told you guys.
Yeah. And so what was your...
So, my word?
Oh, you said your word.
Yeah, that's my word. Yeah, better. What's your word?
Well, that's what it came to me at the end, and it didn't. I wasn't all the way there yet, and then I figured it out. I mean, it's about family. That's what the bottom line is that these are all people who have lost family, who have been alone and sort of struggling with that, trying to survive in a harsh environment, really.
Right. Right.
Having had their families taken from them, and they all find each other and become a new family. And again, it wasn't contrived. They fought it for a while. They fought the family part. Rocket fought it. Drax fought it. Groot. Maybe Groot didn't.
Rocket.
Groot was a family. Yeah.
I think Rocket's my favorite.
Rocket was awesome.
As great as Groot was, I think Rocket was my favorite.
Well, that kind of gets back to what I was saying. You think the movie's about about Star-Lord, but it's kind of not. It's
like each person had their own time to be the star of the movie.
Yeah.
And their story was the focus.
Yeah.
And then we would focus on the
next. They're kind of the anchor or whatever. Everything else kind of revolves around, but you're not always telling the story through that central character's eyes.
Right.
You're seeing each one have their own story to tell.
Right.
Yeah, and I like Rocket's evolution. Well, Rocket's personality does evolve, and he's one of the primary people who fight the family thing. But by the end of the movie, when When Drax comes over and scratches his head.
Oh my god.
That's what I teared up. I teared up at that point a little bit. Like he just.
I'm glad they didn't push that, because like if they had kept going,
oh,
I
right.
would.
Let's not give away too much. That's a little spoilery. But there's a moment. There's a moment when Rocket, because Rocket hates the fact that he's a raccoon. He hates it because everybody thinks he's a vermin.
And he didn't ask to be one. He made a great point in the movie. He didn't ask to be one.
Yeah, he's the only one of his kind, and he doesn't like.
Yeah, he's the only creature of his kind.
But there was a moment when you could see some acceptance.
Well, not only that, but he needed comfort.
Right, but comfort in the fact that he is a furry animal. And sometimes furry animals need their ears scratched, you know?
Or their head.
Yeah. Okay, well, we haven't given away too much. I think that was my favorite scene. Mm-hmm. And that was at the end. That's at the end, which is good. You don't usually get that.
I think my favorite scene was in the middle of the movie. They're all trying to argue with one another to get their points across. And everyone is, well, blah, 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 well, blah, 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 well, blah, 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 blah. And then Groot just keeps going, I am Groot. And every time he would say that, Rocket would look at him and go, well, what does that matter? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And
only Rocket could understand Groot.
And then the next time he'd go, I am Groot. And he'd go, yes, I know 12 is bigger than 11, but that still doesn't matter. He knew what his best friend was saying.
You know what else? I was impressed with Batista. Do you know who this is? Batista, the big guy, Drax? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Dave Batista, who plays Drax the Destroyer, the really big, no neck, red all over him, massive guy, he's a professional wrestler. He's WWE.
Oh.
I mean, he was big timer too. He's a world heavyweight champion or whatever. And a while back, he had a big duel with John Cena. You know John Cena, right? And he lost an I Quit match. I'm getting really geeked out here on WWE all of a sudden, but I'll get to the point. He lost an I Quit match, and then he said, I quit WWE forever. F you guys.
Just because of that?
No. Well, he quit so he could go make Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
So that's what he was doing the whole time. After his John Cena I Quit match, he quit. He had to lose that match so he could take 2 years off to go make, or however long to go make Guardians of the Galaxy. He's come back since then, and then he quit again. Probably to do press for the movie, I'm sure.
Right.
But he's 40 now, so I don't know if he's going to... But anyway, my point is for a wrestler, he really acted his balls off.
Oh, I would have never guessed.
Right? You wouldn't have thought, you thought he's an actor, right? Because he does a lot of B movies now. He was in Legend of the Iron Fist or something like that, and he's done some like direct-to-video kind of stuff. You know, he's done those.
Yeah, I would have never guessed.
He was always kind of wooden. You know, it doesn't... but his character is supposed to be wooden in this, so that kind of helps his case a little bit. But still, I was emotionally connected to Batista. Yeah. To Drax.
Yeah.
You know...
I liked that character.
Yeah, he was really great. He was really great.
And he kind of has his own evolving that he does.
Yeah, well, he has an arc. Yeah, just like the others do.
Yeah.
He starts out... kind of like Rocket. Starts out full of rage, anger...
Right.
It just wants to get revenge.
Right. Seek revenge.
Rocket just wants to blow things up and get money, and he just hates the world because he's
really smart. Super smart.
Right.
They kept making cool little scenes where things would be like all blown up, and then Rocket would be all...
yeah. Remember? Bit with the leg. Here's your leg.
Oh. No, I liked... And we're gonna need his eye. No, we're not gonna need the eye. No, yeah, come on, I think we need it.
The leg scene and the eye scene are two of the funniest bits of the movie. I don't want to tell you any more than that. Just, if you see it, just the leg scene and the eye scene. So
good stuff.
So good. God, I can't think of a single thing that I didn't like about the movie. Nope. Even the ending, while it wasn't. What are you gonna do with that ending? It's such a hard. That's the problem that I have with these movies, with these sort of Marvel world destruction. The whole world is in peril, right? Right. The whole universe.
Right.
And it's in that way because there's one person or one thing that's super powerful. How do you beat that? So they paint themselves into these corners with these super powerful. How do you get out of this realistically? Right. You know what I mean?
What would happen in real life if and when?
You'd all be dead. We'd all be a pile of dust right now.
Right.
If that happened in reality.
Right.
So the way they resolved that in the movie, while I don't think it's ideal, and I was like, you know, I was a little bit like, come on, a little bit. It wasn't too bad. It was a very, you know what it was? You know what I thought of at the end was Toy Story 3, when they're all in a different way. But I know it doesn't make sense, right? Toy Story. Where am I getting Toy Story 3? When they're all falling down into the trash incinerator, and they know they're gonna die. They all believe they're gonna die. So, you know, Buzz grabs onto Jessie, and then she grabs onto Woody, and then Woody, and they all hold hands, and
right.
just like whatever happens, we're gonna go down together.
Right.
And that was
more or less.
Yeah. And I was okay with that. But,
yeah.
But it's, I mean, I've seen like the ending of Thor 2 is completely ridiculous.
I liked that because in the middle-ish, when they all kind of agreed, okay, let's do this. That's
right. I'm ready to die for you.
They agreed on.
Yeah. Well, that's true. He said, "You're asking us to die."
Right, and they all agreed. Well.
Okay, so if we were a little fuzzy face there for a second, I'm sorry, but the sun is setting and it's changing all the light around here, and so the camera had to refocus, and couldn't quite find us.
Yeah, I liked that was part of the ending because that's what they agreed on.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Full circle.
So yeah, I would say, gosh, I mean, very little to complain about. Total fun. Go see the movie.
Go see it, seriously.
Definitely.
You'll
full price.
It.
Go pay the full price.
Yeah, don't mind. And you know what? For 3D, there was actually like...
I didn't mind the 3D so much.
I feel like, for the most part, when you watch a 3D movie, like for Frozen in the beginning, when the ice gets broken into, there's like a saw jamming into the ice.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the most 3D you get,
yeah.
you know? Like one scene where something comes at you and that's it.
Well, that's the thing about 3D. I don't feel like they should have to like cut scenes just for the 3D.
Exactly.
That's why I don't like it, because they force
it.
Yeah.
There was nothing that came out at us, but everything looked...
You know, right. Three-dimensional.
It looked
Normally
like,
I find 3D distracting for that
right.
reason. Yeah. Like, what, God, you know, I would prefer to see it in 2D.
Right. Same here. That was one of the first 3Ds that was actually like, hey!
Yeah. Even the 3D was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not going to complain.
All right, well, sun is setting. It's getting a little chilly. Thumbs up. 10 out of 10. Full price. Don't wait for video. Don't wait for Blu-ray.
See it full
Don't
screen.
wait for Netflix.
See
Don't wait for
screen.
Redbox. Go to the movies and see it on the big screen.
Surround sound, big screen. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, do it right. Give Guardian Galaxy and Disney all of your money.
Yep. Give them all your money!
All right, until next time, guys, we'll see you around. Brush break.